Hello and welcome to Desktop and Dice, the gaming channel where you never know who's going to show up. We are also known as the Dad Network, and I'm your host, NextGen Nate. In this video, we're just going to give you a layout of what we're about and different things that we're thinking about doing in the future, as well as a few other things. Well, as I've already said, we are a gaming channel. Most notably, our main channel is a Let's Play channel, although there will be other channels with slightly different takes to them. Now, what makes us a little different? What makes us different is that we are a gaming channel with a true emphasis on being family friendly. Tell the truth, nowadays, there's a lot of gaming channels out there that say, hey, we're family friendly, and then bleepity bleep this and bleepity bleep that. And I'm sorry, that's not family friendly. So we're trying to actually be true to the advertisement and be family friendly. Honestly, if we think something in a game is offensive, we're going to bleep it out. Now, that's actually going to be on a particular channel. Our main channel won't have games like that. If we find it offensive, it's not going to be on our main channel. But we'll get into that a little later. Another thing that makes us a little different is that the focus really isn't the games. That's what's supposed to draw you in. We hope that you come for the games, but you stay for the interactions. And that brings me to a certain creator who inspired what these channels are meant to do, and that would be a small creator known as Lord Smappy. And when I started watching her content, I noticed that I really enjoyed Let's Play content that had banter. That it wasn't simply one person talking by themselves. And don't get me wrong, there are channels that I really do enjoy that have an individual who is talking by themselves. A good example is Z1. I really enjoy his content. But my favorites are when he is with his wife and they're able to talk with each other. Lord Smappy's content had them talking about all kinds of different things while gaming. I wanted to repeat something similar. The difference is this. Our situation is going to be a rotating cast of people who come in at random. That's why the tagline, you never know who's going to show up. Now, it's an exclusive group that I have chosen that will be showing up to talk, but I don't know who's going to show up out of that group. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It could be funny, it could be deep. But knowing these guys, it's most likely going to be deep at some point. Another reason I wanted to do this is because it seems to me that most gaming channels tend to bend ideologically in one particular direction, and if they don't, they tend to be very, look, we're just not going to go there, we're not going to talk about that, let's just have some fun. I personally think that we're doing a disservice. We need to hear other perspectives. And actually, this group of friends that I've put together, we agree on a lot of things, and you're going to hear perspectives that you don't normally hear from a lot of gamers. Like I said, things tend to go one direction. But there are a few things that may come up that we disagree about, but we want to show we can disagree about those things and have a conversation and still be friends. It's important that we show that this is something that can happen. So, again, the game is the hook. The conversation is the point. And sometimes, like I've said before, it's gonna be lighthearted, funny, fun. But sometimes, knowing this group of guys, we're gonna get some deep concepts of philosophy, maybe some theology, some science, different things like that. And I wanted to encapsulate that kind of experience. And that's kind of one of the things that inspired this is during COVID. Me and a couple of guys were doing basically the same thing, but in private. And we ended up talking about postmodernism and how it's destroying most of the things that we love. And how there's different books and concepts that are just being taken away that used to be there that really should still be there. Like, for instance, 1984, Fahrenheit 451, things like that, to teach these concepts. Now, I say that we don't know what we're going to talk about. Admittedly, sometimes we'll purposely play a game to talk about it and to talk about its philosophical impact. Now, that's normally going to be on the channel that we call the Edge channel because those games tend to be a little more intense, but we'll talk about the Edge channel a little later. Another inspiration for bringing out these channels and starting this network is the oh-so-little known personality of Tim Pool. His concept of not just talking about culture, critiquing culture, but needing to make culture, to see culture affected, is one of the main reasons I'm also wanting to do this and wanting to bring together these people to do this project, because if we want to affect this space, we need to make what we think needs to be in the space. And again, what I think that should be is family friendly, with the potential of talking about deep concepts and from a perspective that tends to be hush hush, we don't talk about that because YouTube doesn't like it. And yes, we're going to be on YouTube. And yes, I am prepared to have some of our videos removed because we say some things that they don't like. But because of that, we are also going to be on Odyssey and Rumble and possibly some other platforms in the future. I had originally planned to not do YouTube because of their censorship issue, but I realized I need to be fishing in every single pond, and YouTube is the biggest right now. But be prepared. If you follow us, we may actually have videos taken down because we don't agree with what is being put out there. Now, when it comes to being family friendly, I know that particular definition is loose. I do think using the F word every sixth word doesn't count as family friendly, even though there are those who say that they are family friendly while they're doing that. That I see as false advertising. I do see 3 areas where we may disagree on what's family friendly and not. Now, certain people are going to think we're prudes. Other people are going to think we're too loose. Sorry, can't please everybody. Here are the 3 areas, though, that I think there will be those who say we're too loose. One is violence, but I'm sorry, these are video games. Violence tends to be part of it. You are a protagonist, typically, going against an antagonist. Typically, that has violence. So, that might be one of the places. Another is magic. And this is actually a place where, in some cases, I might actually agree with those who are like, oh, that's too much. On our main channel, the things that are allowed to have quote-unquote magic are those types of magic that are undefined, very loose, very, why does the paint come to life when the paintbrush makes a thing and it comes to life? Oh, magic. Any explanation beyond that? No, we just say magic. Those are the types of games that are going to be on the main channel. If it goes more in depth than that, then it will be on the Edge channel. And like I said, I'm going to be dropping hints toward the Edge channel a lot until I get to actually talk about it. But that's where we're going to draw the line. If we think it goes a little more in depth to the point that we wouldn't necessarily, as parents, want to have to explain something to our child, it's going to go on the Edge channel. If it's just, cause it's magic, bling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and that's it, it's probably going to stay on the main channel. And by the way, there is a game called Magic Pin Gel, where it literally is you paint something and it magically comes to life. So that's where I got that example from. We'll see if we get the chance to play that on the channel or not. Third is adult humor, as it were. And in that regard, most of the guys and ladies that are going to be on this are a bit older. We have children. So every now and then there's going to be things said that are probably going to sound funny. You know, kind of one of those that didn't come out right scenarios. I will be trying my best to tamp down purposely trying to be lewd in humor. But at the same time, there may be certain moments where something strikes us as funny from that direction. Because we're adults who've lived life. Now, I am going to be really pushing for everyone to be wink wink, nudge nudge. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, because there's kids in the room. We're not going to go, okay, that's enough. Funny. That was funny. Okay, let's move on. So understand, it's not like I'm going to let this stuff just fly around all the time. It's just every now and then someone's going to say something, probably, and you're going to hear a bit of a, you know, that kind of thing. Going to try to keep that kind of thing low, but just know it might happen. You might hear a snicker. You might hear a, hey, you get what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Like I said, the point is to go laugh, laugh. Okay, let's move on. Also, since we're on the topic of what the main channel is and what it's not, it is a Let's Play channel. It is not a walkthrough channel or a review channel. And tell the truth, it's not, hey, watch it how good I am at this. In fact, there's probably going to be some of the stuff where you're watching to laugh at me because I'm really not that good at some of these things. They're fun, but I'm not actually that skilled at them. So don't necessarily come to the main channel thinking you're going to learn the tricks of the game. In fact, I'll probably be asking the audience, hey, is there a trick to this? Now, like I said earlier, there's going to be a revolving door of different characters, and personally, I don't know who's going to be not that consistent and those who are going to be extremely consistent. There are a few, though, that I'm pretty sure are going to be consistent. Two, specifically, and those are Shish Kebab, which is our IT guy. He's the guy that's making sure that my computer's working. He's the one that has helped me figure out how we're going to do this, how we're going to record. We had a kind of this issue where I'm wanting to record myself, the group, the game, all separately so that I can edit them separately, which will make editing things that I think don't need to be there a lot easier. He's the guy that has really helped me set this up, get this going, and you're not going to stop hearing me giving him accolades, because if I am the idea guy, he's the one that builds the structure that my idea can be draped over. I'm kind of the skin, he's the skeleton. So he's awesome. We're actually hoping that he'll have his own channel, which I'll be telling you about a little later. The second person is Archangel117, and we're most likely going to be calling him Arc for short. But he's basically my right-hand guy when it comes to the vision of this. So he's my sounding board, the guy that we mull over new ideas with. So in a way, I'm not just the one making the skin for the skeleton. So you got Shish Kebab making the skeleton, you got me making the skin primarily, but then you have Ark helping me in that process. And it really is the three of us. The three of us are going to be your core group. In time, that may change. In time, it may grow. And I'm actually looking forward to that. Some guest characters you might run into is Ravenous, which is my father, and Little Raptor Ben and Gorilla Gabe, which are my two sons. We'll see when they end up showing up on the channel. I'm not sure how quickly we're going to be doing that, but it's something that I'm looking forward to doing, especially with my eldest, Little Raptor Ben. He really, really likes Grounded, as well as Fall Guys, and a few other games. So when it comes to those, I might actually be going out of my way at some point when we kind of perfect the two microphone thing to have him on the channel with us. So haven't quite got the 2 microphone in the same studio figured out yet. Going to be working on that though. Another thing that you're going to run into on the main channel is just fun questions to talk about in the comments, as well as a bit of a guessing game per run of game. And that's the thing, my plan is basically to play a game, get some good recording in, and have 20-minute segments that I run off of. So you're going to have part 1, part 2, so on, and that will be a run. So within each run, there will be different questions to answer, as well as a guessing game. And actually for this video, we have our first question, which is, when you're watching Let's Play content, do you rather have someone monologue, or would you rather have banter? Because if you like banter, you're in the right place. Although there will be times when I have to monologue. But a good example for a run would be, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream and why? And then give us 5 or 6 more, and then put them in order based on episode 1 of a run. You put your favorite. Episode 2, you put your next favorite. Episode 3, you put your next favorite. And you put why you think those particular flavors of ice cream don't get the kind of love that they should get, or why you love them so much. And then the guessing game is, what do you think my favorite flavor of ice cream is? And then if you get it right, at the last part of that run, there will be kind of kudos to whoever got it right within when that run was coming out. Well, I think that I've told you pretty much the main premise of the main channel. Now we have other channels with their own niche design. The first one is the one that I've been telling you about, Edge Channel, which is going to work exactly the same as our main channel, except that is where we're going to be putting games that we don't think fit the family-friendly criteria that we have. A good for instance is Fallout games. They tend to have cussing. They're great games, they're fun games, but we're going to put them on the Edge Channel. Now, even though they're on the Edge Channel, I'm going to be editing the cussing out. Other games that might be on there are, once again, games that have magic or religion that's a little more defined, that we don't necessarily want to be the ones responsible teaching your kid or suggesting anything to your kid or giving our take on or whatever. We want you to do that. That is your position, and that's a big deal for us. We want you as the parent to have the power and to be the one who knows what your kid is watching and be empowered to help them through that journey. We don't want to be the ones to teach them certain things. We want you to be that person, not us. And so, because of that, as I go through the different types of things that we might have on the Edge channel, we will be putting a warning up on each video telling you which kind of thing made us think, this needs to go on the Edge channel, not the main channel, so that you can make the decision on your own. Another thing is, for instance, in fighting games, there's a lot of ladies who tend to be not dressed as well as they should. That would go on the Edge channel. Now, it would be very tedious to try to edit all of that out. So, what we're going to do is not play those characters. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that we won't run into them as challengers that we will have to fight. If we have a game like Street Fighter, where we believe there's someone in it that could use a little more clothes, we're going to play it on the Edge channel and not on the main channel. I also want to point out that even though a game may have something in it, my expectation of our guests is the same standard that I have for our main channel. Just because a game has cussing in it, I expect my guests not to cuss. Just because there might be other things, I expect them to act in a certain way, and I will hold them to that particular standard. Also, if a game has something that we just think is beyond the pale, if it's a game where you can play it without interacting with that thing, then most likely we will just avoid that thing and play the game, but not do whatever that is. If it is something that has to happen, then we probably won't be playing that game. Once again, can't please everybody. There's going to be certain people that are going to look at what we put on the Edge channel and go, man, you are prudish. Other people are going to go, well, you shouldn't be playing that at all. I respect both perspectives, actually. You are the parent of your child. If you think that we're being too prudish, okay. I don't see that really doing anything in your life. If you think that we're not being prudish enough, take the reins. Make that decision. Do that for your kid. That's exactly what we're wanting from you. But like I said, we're going to put a warning at the beginning of each video in the Edge channel telling you why we think it needed to be on the Edge channel. That way you, again, can make the decision as a parent. Now, I will say, a lot of times, the games where we are playing them specifically to challenge the philosophy or the presented idea in the game, because we're going to have those games that we pick specifically so that we can talk about what they're presenting and agree, disagree, show where they're mixing things from truth and lies. Those games tend to be a little intense. So there's going to be certain games that I'm going to probably be like, hey, yes, it's on Edge, but we're going to be talking about these deeper concepts. I would really ask you to consider letting your teenage children watch this, because we're going to be talking about some of the deeper things about this game, and they're most likely going to run into these games at some point at somebody's house. A good for instance is Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is presenting a certain concept and saying it's capitalism, but it is not. It is corporatism. And ultimately, it's Mussolini's fascism. It's where the corporation and the government become one. And I want to play that game and talk about that. It is calling it capitalism. That's not capitalism. That's corporatism. That's fascism. And we need to talk about that. We need to talk about a misrepresentation. And this is what I mean by, you're not normally going to get these conversations from a gaming channel. That's what we want to be. We want to be different. Now, that particular game, it's got cussing in it. It's from Bethesda, which is the same people that did Fallout, or the newer versions of Fallout at least. And there's cussing, there's other things that might be considered offensive. But it's worth going over the philosophy and addressing that. And that's one of our big things. One of our big things is actually the fact that the art of taking young people through stuff and having them chew on it, spit out the bones, and keep the good is a lost art. That you don't have to agree with something for it to sharpen you. In fact, resisting against something, arguing with something, wrestling with something is the very way that you become sharpened. So there's going to be certain things that we are doing that come at things with that intent. A good example in my life is I really like the Dune series of books. The dude is a genius. He is extremely wrong about a lot of things, but he is eloquent in presenting it. And every time I came away from reading one of his books, actually listening to one of his books, I would argue with it. I would be pausing it constantly and arguing with it, but I came away feeling like my brain was firing on all cylinders because it drove me to be sharp. I'm hoping to encapsulate some of that. And nowadays, the storytelling is in game form, and I want to help a new generation learn this skill. The ability to dissect, see the different philosophical things that they're trying to put out there, argue them, and know that you can enjoy a piece of art and totally and completely disagree with it and even go, wow, you did a really good job making your case. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. But man, did you do a good job. The method that was taught to me was, back when I was young, we'd go see a movie, and my parents would actually take me aside and say, in that movie, where was the truth? And I'd have to tell them. In that movie, where was a lie? I'd have to tell them. And then they'd say, where did they mix the two? And I'd have to tell them the scene. I'm wanting to do that, train young people in that. And the thing is, that is a skill. That is actually a mighty tool in the mind. I'm wanting to help a new generation understand that when playing video games. So that's the Edge channel, a place where we're going to be challenging young people, but at the same time, it's also the place where we're going to be putting things that we're like, that doesn't quite fit the family-friendly motif. But we're going to do our best to even take that and clean it up if we can. And while we're on the topic, one of the projects that we actually want to do down the line, if all of this becomes successful enough that it can fund it, is actually start a website where we get modders to create family-friendly mods so that parents can use those mods to clean up certain games. Have a game that has too much cussing? Get a mod that gets the cussing out. Have a game where they need more clothes? Get one that puts clothes on them. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mods that take clothes off. That tells me you can make mods that can put clothes back on. But we want to provide these mods so that parents can let their kids play games that are fun, but take those few things out that would cause them to not be able to enjoy those games. And we want to do it for free. We want it to be that this funds that well enough that you don't have to buy those mods. We don't want to put any kind of wall between you as a parent and those mods. We want you to be able to get them for free. Now, we might actually have other mods on there that aren't so focused on family friendly. They're just focused on being goofy, silly, or fun. And those we might charge for. But the ones that we deem helping a parent make a game family friendly, those we want to make sure are available and able to be given. So that is one of the things that if you help us out, if you follow us, all that, you'll be helping us head toward that goal. But yeah, that's the Edge channel. Let's move on to the next one. The next channel is the Files and Fables channel, which is our storytelling channel. And right now, really, the main thing that's going to be on there is a bit of a project of mine that lets me do a little bit of voice acting, which is something I've always wanted to do. And what I'm going to be doing is taking characters I've made in MMORPGs and tell you the backstory in an immersive kind of way. The first series is going to be called the Quiver Files, and that's where I take the stories of City of Heroes and City of Villains characters I've made and present them to you in a, like I said, immersive way. You'll have to watch it to kind of see what I mean. Now, again, my storytelling sometimes can actually get a little edgy, a little dark, so just keep that in mind. I mean, a villain is a villain. They're not a good guy. And even some of the heroes have some gray areas. So it might get a little gritty sometimes, and just keep that in mind. I hope to do some other series on there. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I've had different ideas over some time, and we'll see what happens. Basically, that will also be the channel that if we're doing anything that we think there's like background lore that we want to make for whatever we're working on, that's where you're going to find it. Next up is the Dice Bit, as in the Dice Bit of desktop and dice. So with 2 channels focused on video games and possibly some other channels focused on video games, it kind of stands to reason that we should at least have one channel that's about the dice part and about tabletop gaming and so on. And that's exactly what it's about. Any tabletop gaming that we do is going to be on that. Any tabletop role-playing games that we do are going to be on that. Now, at first, we're going to be focused on Tabletop Simulator, but in time, we're hoping to actually have recordings of physical gameplay at a table. And that's another message that we're wanting to send. Even though you're watching us on a screen, even though you're playing video games and we're playing video games and there's screens and stuff, we really do want to encourage don't just do that. Also, sit across the table, play a game with a person. Don't just play these games online. Make contact, because it's important. Now, this channel will not be where we teach you the rules. We will be recommending you go watch other people's content for that. So if we're about to play a certain game, we'll probably stop and say, hey, if you want to know how this game is played, go watch this channel. There's a link in the description. But we will not be explaining the rules here. We will just be playing. It's also going to be on the Upbeat channel, where I do something called Character Workshop. You see, I'm also going to be working on something called Rent a Cyber Friend, where you guys can call and talk to me if you like what we do. If you think our conversations are interesting and you want to have a face-to-face conversation with me, then you can come on Rent a Cyber Friend, look up Nathaniel Wallace, that's my real name, and have a conversation with me. And if you contact me through that and then request to be part of Character Workshop, then I will start recording and we will work on together a tabletop RPG character for you. Now that can be D&D, that can be Fate, it can be some other system if you'll give me some time to learn that system. If that's something that you're wanting, go to the video game section of my Rent a Friend and click on that. That will be the topic. And just when we start talking, say, hey, I want to be part of the character workshop. And we will start working on your character. And I'm cool both with working on the mechanics part of it and backstory. Actually, I really like working both of them together. That is one of my passions, is building characters. And you'll see with the City of Heroes and City of Villains characters that I have, you'll see that yes, that is definitely one of my things, is creating characters. So that's one thing to look forward to, and one thing that you guys can actually join in on. Now, I reserve the right to not necessarily publish our interaction if I don't think it is what I want to publish. But if you don't ask, you don't get. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to people talking with me and letting me help them build characters. That's something that I'm actually really excited about. Another thing that might be down the line is actually allowing fans to join us on the tabletop simulator. So we may have something down the line where basically your name goes into a pool, and if your name gets pulled, that you actually get to join a group of us while we play a board game on Tabletop Simulator. And if we really enjoy your company, who knows, maybe you'll actually be joined to the roster of the people who cycle through to come and talk while we're gaming. Those are the main channels we're starting off with. Desktop and Dice Main, Desktop and Dice Edge, the Dice Bit, Files and Fables. There are other ideas in the works, things that are bouncing around in our heads. Like I said, Shish Kebab has something that he's possibly going to do called the hardware side, where he refurbishes old systems and then plays games off of them. And I've seen one of his refurbished Game Boys. He made it look like it was like made out of cherry wood, and it's beautiful. I think that'd be a really cool channel where you get to watch stage by stage where a system is refurbished and brought to life and even made cooler and then used. Again, Shish Kebab is why any of this can happen, so I really, really hope that you support him when we get that up and going, because he deserves it. We have some ideas for Ark to possibly do some things where he does survival mode or hard mode in games. We'll see whether or not that happens or not. It's an idea that we've had. I have an idea for something called the design side. We'll see if I get to it. It's where I use RPG Maker and take one of those story ideas I have in my head. Got plenty of those. Take one of those and actually try to make a video game and take you guys through the process of using RPG Maker to try to make that video game. Again, down the line, not really at a place where we can do that yet, but we'll see how things go. Another idea we have is for a review channel, but one where we actually get people who have opposing views on a game and argue those points about that game, something that they like versus someone who dislikes that thing, and actually have a bit of a debate type situation in the review itself. And finally, we have the junk drawer, which will definitely be down the line, but the junk drawer is basically where we're going to put stuff that we don't know where else it should go, but we thought it would be fun. We're actually going to have some live stuff hopefully down the line, and that will be in the junk drawer. Like a situation where we're filming, the town that we're in, that we give out a call and say, hey, anyone who's in this town, come to this place, bring a Nerf gun, and we're going to film a Nerf war. Stuff like that. Or another idea we had was we really enjoy watching those like crushing videos or the shredding videos, and kind of give ratings to different things being crushed or shredded, sort of like Olympics. People with that was a 7, that was a 1.5, that was a 10. Just different things that we think would be funny or fun, but don't quite fit the rest of the motif. That's where it's going to go. The junk drawer. So that's a rundown of who we are, the different things that we're doing, the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. I'm sure we're going to come up with new ideas down the line. This won't be the full extent of what we do. The hope is that we're going to grow, have new ideas, and come up with new stuff. But for now, this is what we're planning on doing. These are things that we're hoping to do down the line. And we hope that you guys will enjoy this. And we're hoping that we can provide something that is similar to a lot of other people, but does it in a way that not many do. If you think that this is going to be something that you want to support, please follow us on our socials and watch us on Rumble, on Odyssey, on YouTube. If you really like what we're doing, give us a like, a fire, a rumble, depending upon which thing that you're on. If you're feeling really generous on Odyssey, give us a tip or a boost. Actually, on Odyssey, giving us a boost will be really important. And if you don't know what that is, there's videos on it. You can look that up. Another really helpful thing that you can do is start a few follow trains. Now, I know you may have no idea what that is. Fortunately, I've made a video explaining what a follow train is and how to get one started, and actually how to keep one going. I'll put a link to that video in the description, and it'll give you a rundown of what that is. But I really do think follow trains are going to be a very big way that we grow. So starting a few of those would be very helpful. Also, like I said, if you're wanting to have an actual conversation with me, I'm going to be on Rent a Cyber Friend, and you can find me at Nathaniel Wallace. Now, one thing that I do have an issue with that particular program is I've tried to look up people by name, and for some reason, it has a hard time actually pulling the person up. And I'm not really sure why, but you might have to do some searching. I also found that the last name is actually more what it pulls from than the first name. So look for N.Wallace in the group of Wallaces, and you should find me. You'll know me because I'm holding a D&D coffee cup. But yeah, if you're wanting to have a conversation, look me up there. Now, there is a fee. It is Rent a Cyber Friend. If you're wanting to do character workshop, go to the video game section. Tell me that's what you want to do, and we'll start recording, and we'll start working on a character. And I actually really look forward to hearing from you guys and being able to talk with you. So please consider doing that. Oh, also, on Rent a Cyber Friend, you have to be 18 years old or older to use it. So if you're one of the younger folks watching my videos, you're going to need to have a guardian with you and have them be the one who actually accesses the service. And they need to be in the room with you at all times, or otherwise we can't have that conversation. Now, I do want to talk with some of the younger folks who watch my stuff, but I really have to have it to where your guardian is the one who has requested the service, and like I said, they have to be with you. That's safety for you and me. By the way, if I have the ability to, I will leave a link to my CyberFriend account down in the description below. That way, getting there will be easier. I guess with all of that said, I think I've covered everything. So, I'm Next Gen Nate, and I look forward to the next time we play.